AI keeps giving everybody the same output: purple gradients, generic fonts, and even the same writing styles. And it's not random. These models default to what's most common on the internet if you don't guide them properly. And the fix is something called prompting altitude, where you're trying to find the sweet spot between something that's too specific and too vague. And the beautiful part here is this technique can be applied to any of the major providers: Gemini, Claude, Grok, ChatGPT, etc. Let's get into it. Before we jump into the solution, I want to highlight the problem. So here I think is a good depiction of an AI being trained. So you can imagine this massive funnel here is kind of like a vacuum, and all these little dots are data from the internet. And the AI model is being trained on all this data. Now, the issue here is when the AI is sucking in all this data, it sees a lot of different things that are the same. So that could be designs of dashboards, that could be writing styles, that could be the use of emojis, M dashes, all the things that we get out of models when we prompt them vaguely. So this is the input side. On the output side, when we ask an AI to produce something for us, oftentimes the way I depict this in my head is that it's kind of like a black hole. And gravity is pulling everything in to the area that has the least amount of resistance. So if you ask an AI to rewrite a report for you, it's likely going to include M dashes. Maybe it's going to include the word delve. It might include emojis and a variety of other things that are considered average. And then are average because the AI saw this a ton in its training process. So when it gives you an output, it's likely going to default to that, assuming that it's getting closer to what you want. And the primary reason this happens is that your prompt initially was vague. You simply asked it to rewrite a report for you. And this is where we get into prompting altitude. Now, the term here, prompting altitude, is something I pulled from a Anthropic blog post. And credit where credit is due, this blog post actually inspired this video. It talks all about how to improve the design output from AI, and they talk about it through the context of prompting altitude. So now back to that. As I mentioned previously, the high altitude aspect of prompting altitude is being too vague. So you're basically asking it to rewrite a report or create a dashboard, but you're not giving it any specifics on which direction it should head. That's high altitude. Low altitude is being too rigid. So you're being too specific to the AI. You're saying, hey, in this context, we could say, I want you to create a dashboard, but specifically you need to use this hex code for this segment of the dashboard. And you're basically telling it every single step of the way of what it needs to do. Now, this can be useful sometimes, but most of the time it's best not to do this. Reason being is the AI may have ideas around what you should do in this case that's likely better than yours. So this is low altitude. Quick pause in your regular programming. This video, again, as always, is brought to you by me. So, two quick things. Below is a 30-day AI Insight series, completely free. You'll get 30 insights in your inbox of how you can apply AI to your business and your work. The second thing is, if you'd like to work with me, below are a series of offerings to see if there's a good fit between the two of us. That being said, let's get back into the video. And the goal for us is to find the sweet spot, the Goldilocks zone, where we're not too high with our prompt, we're not too vague, we're not too specific, we're right in the middle. And the way that we do this is by giving guided directions in our prompt that give two things. We give direction and inspiration. And that's how we're able to get to a state where the UI that we derive from an AI, or even the writing that we get from an AI, is both unique and aligned with our interests and accurate to what we want. And as I mentioned, inside the prompt that you're writing, there's two levers that we can pull: either direction or inspiration. Direction can either be towards something or away from something else. In this video, we're going to talk about design. So, in the context of direction, the thing we want to get away from is likely purple gradients on white backgrounds, because that's a common thing you see in every single AI output when it comes to dashboards. And something we want to go towards is something that we're interested in. So, maybe we like certain fonts or certain colors. That's the direction we should include in our prompt. And then for inspiration, we don't have to be hyper specific. You don't have to be a designer. You don't have to know all the lingo of a designer to get really good outputs. You could say something very general like, hey, I like the colors of Hermes and I love the shapes of Apple on their websites. Combine those two for this specific finance application that I'm building. That information is likely enough for the AI to go in the right direction. And now that we have a general understanding of prompting altitude, what's high and what's low, I want to give you hyper practical examples of how you can apply this on your own day-to-day work. So in this example, I'm going to talk about Claude Skills, but you can do this outside of Claude Skills as well. Now, quickly, what is a Claude skill? So a Claude skill, simply put, is a bunch of prompts bundled into a folder that an AI has access to. That's basically it. And Claude skills were, I guess, obviously by the name, created by Claude or the company Anthropic that owns Claude. And we can create a dedicated skill for our UI design from our AI. The specific skill helps us get outputs from our AI that provide unique designs that are going away from what's generic and common for an AI to produce when it comes to dashboards, prototypes, UIs, etc. And the beautiful part about skills is you can have a skill create another skill. So I'm going to show you exactly how I created this skill, how I went about this, and just show you how easy it is. So I'll go to the very top of this Claude conversation, and this is the prompt. The only thing that I typed in were these two lines. Everything else I pasted in. Now I'll zoom in to look at these two lines I've drafted. So the first one, Using the skill creator, so there is a skill that Anthropic provides out of the box to us to use that creates other skills, which I'll show you in a second. I want you to use this to create a Claude skill dedicated to creating more impressive designs. Use the below blog post as inspiration on how to go about creating this skill and what's included, especially this prompt. And then I pasted in this specific prompt below here. Now, when I'm referring to the blog post, I'm referring to the blog post that I called out here because Anthropic talked all about what's needed when it comes to creating a high quality skill. And the prompt that I pasted in there is from this blog post. So if I scroll down here, I copied out this specific prompt because that's the prompt that really includes a lot of what the context in the blog post is about. I pasted it in this chat. And then below, I have the actual blog post right here. So I just copied and pasted the entire markdown from here, which you can go to explore, copy as markdown, and I then just pasted it in that chat. After I did that, the AI started working. So I'm going to zoom out a bit and we can see this. The AI started calling in that skill of creator, so the skill that creates other skills. It initialized the skill, it drafted everything, and at the very end, when it was finished, it gave me two files. One was the markdown explaining what's inside the skill, and then one was the skill itself. The cool thing about creating skills inside of Claude is that you can save them directly inside of Claude. That's a nice feature. But the beautiful thing about skills in general is you can apply them to any model. So you can take this skill and you can then run it in ChatGPT, you can run it in Gemini, you can run it in Grok. Because remember, all it is just a bundle of prompts and a file. Now the question is, where do skills sit? So if you go to your settings, so if you click on your profile here, you go to settings. Under settings, if you go to capabilities here, you'll see there's an option down here called skills. And all these skills are, most of these are out of the box. A few that I've made custom. So this one here is a custom one that I made in that context. So the one that I just showed you in that chat, this one here is this skill here I created. So I just saved it directly into Claude. So I had an impressive front-end design skill that I could call in at any time that would help the AI give me better outputs when I want to create visuals for dashboards, graphics, etc. And you can see right here it says added by you. So this is a custom skill I made. Now, the skill that I used to create the skill creator, very meta, I know, is here, which is from Anthropic. So this is out of the box, provided by them. All you have to do is toggle it on. Once you've toggled it on, you just call it, say, I want to use the skill creator. It'll then use that to create a skill. Now that we understand how skills are created and how I created this specific skill, I want to reaffirm the importance that skills can be applied anywhere. I'm going to show you exactly how that can be applied in ChatGPT because I'm sure many of you use ChatGPT. But before we get into that, I want to give you some context around what's inside the skill. Why is it unique and how are we prompting it based off of the altitude levels to get in the direction that we're interested in? So after reading the skill, I noticed there's a few different dimensions in which the prompt is pushing the AI. So this is the direction where it wants it to go instead of avoid. So it's saying, I want you to use different types of fonts that are more unique in nature. It even gives some examples. The same thing applies to color, the depth of the actual visuals inside the dashboard, as well as any slight animations and motions in the dashboard as well. All of these are minor prompts that are included inside that skill to get the AI to go in that direction. In addition to the direction of which it should head, it also has a section that's anti-patterns, so things to avoid when creating designs. And inside the skill in that prompt, it calls out the importance of avoiding overused fonts, such as Enter and Roboto, or especially avoiding purple gradients on white backgrounds, which is the most common thing that AI produces. That's the most obvious for people when they look at them. And then also avoid cookie cutter layouts when it comes to the structure of the dashboard based off the type of app I'm asking you to build. Now, these are just some of the core components inside of the skills. Now, let's look at some examples of how this actually improved the output of the AI. So we're going to start with some Claude examples. These are a series of Claude examples of no skill and then skill. So this was a basic prompt asking the AI to create a landing page. So if you look at this, you can see in this landing page, there's a few things. Again, we have a white background, and we have the purple gradients. Anytime you look at this, you immediately know AI likely created that. It's not unique at all. But then if we give the same exact prompt to the AI with the skill enabled, you can see this is a landing page that has unique coloring in the background. It's avoiding most of the purple gradients. The font here is definitely unique. And from my perspective, it stands out in a good way. So that's a landing page example. The next example here is a blog. So if we ask the AI to create a blog for us, it's likely going to give us something like this. And the reason, again, this happens is our prompt is vague. We're not giving it much detail. It's too high altitude. And we're just saying, hey, create us a blog site where we can write blogs. And it gives us something back like this. It's a very vague prompt. But if we enable the skill with the detailed prompt inside, it gives us something back that's more unique. So you can see this doesn't have the white background and or the purple gradient. It has unique fonts. You can see that it has a kind of like a, not much of a color connoisseur. I think it's like beige-ish, like tannish kind of background. Then we have these cool little sections here where the profile is and the text associated to the blog. The layout is unique as well. So that's a blog example. Now this is a dashboard example. So if I zoom in on this, You can see that it has the purple gradients, it has the basic fonts. Oftentimes, when you see dashboards being created by AI, they tend to have these same types of buttons here. And this is the generic layout you'll see for most dashboards from AI. Now, if we enable the skill, try it again, we get something much more unique and more interesting. You can see the coloring is different, the fonts are different, the the buttons down here I think are definitely more attractive, and a variety of other things. So this is the skill enabled again. So those are just some screenshots I wanted to share that are from the actual blog that I showed you. So the blog post here from Claude, it's over here, has some of these screenshots included. But now I'm going to show you this being done via my own Claude instance with the skill I created. So that's the example I want to show here. Now, the example I had here, the base input was a prompt from Sam Altman. So I had this prompt, and this is basically a blog post that he wrote. I gave that blog post to the AI, and I said, hey, I want you to create a chart of energy being used or created over time based off of this blog. That's all it was. So if I click into here, and I'll actually scroll up to the top so you can see the actual prompt. This here is all I put in. Is a very high altitude prompt, just one sentence, like a sentence and a half. And then below that, I pasted in the blog. And this is exactly what Claude gave me back. As you can see, white background, purple gradients, very obviously created by AI. I didn't enable the skill. Now, if I go back here and I do the enhanced version, if I go to the top of this one and scroll up, you'll see if I show more, I've added one additional sentence. And in this sentence, I've added the skills. I said, hey, make sure you use this skill that we created previously to improve the output. And I added just one additional skill here that gives it more ability to use different libraries that are more interesting than just HTML. But most of the lift, the heavy lift here when it comes to the design, is coming from this skill here that we just created. And then I pasted in the blog post. And then here is our output. As you can see, there is some purple gradients here, which isn't great, but the output is much better, in my opinion. So the fonts are unique. The chart itself, I feel, is more intuitive because it has not just the gigawatt of usage for energy in the timeline, but also has kind of labelings for when the energy usage is going to be deployed year 1, year 2, year 3 over time. And even down here, we have some more categories that have animations associated. So when I hover over, these each have a pretty cool animation associated to them as well. So you can see the skill in action with Claude. But as I promised, you can apply this to ChatGPT as well. And that's this example. So it's the same premise, the same blog post, just with ChatGPT and the skills. So if I click in here, you'll see if I scroll to the top, this is the same exact prompt. I gave it the prompt of saying create a chart based off of this blog post, render it via Canvas. Now what it gave me, I would say is more interesting than what Claude gave me to start. But there are some red flags here. So the first red flag is you can see the gradient here is going into purple. There is no white background, which is a plus, but there are definitely a few issues here. So the text is overlaid on the line, which you can fix with minor edits, but there's a few things here that kind of call out that this is AI oriented. Now, if I go back into our enhanced version with ChatGPT and I scroll to the top here, you'll see I've uploaded that skill. So I basically downloaded the file from Claude, uploaded it into this chat, and then I gave it one additional sentence to the prompt saying, make sure you use this specific skill that I've attached and then render the chart. Now, if I go down here and show you the improved version, you'll see, at least from my opinion, this is much more interesting. Now, the coloring, there is no purple gradients, which is a plus. You can also see, from my opinion, this is much more intuitive compared to the previous one. And reason being is that there is no overlays on top of the line. So if we look at the previous one, there's a bunch of overlays and the axes are slightly different. So this is gigawatts and this is, I think, gigawatts as well, but there's no the labeling as horizontal and it's all really hard to read. But if you look at this, it's very intuitive and easy to understand. In addition to this, if I scroll down, there's more context as well to each one of the items. And then instead of having a static overlay, it has a dynamic overlay when I move the items across, adding some more motion and animation. And this is just proof that you can use skills across platforms. You don't have to use it just inside of Claude. And the primary takeaway I want you to take from this video, and the main recap here, is the importance of understanding how to prompt at different altitudes, because this doesn't just apply to AI designs that are coming out for prototypes, but it also comes to how the AI writes for you, how it researches for you, how it executes actions for you. The altitude in which you prompt is critical. So it's important not to be too vague, not to be too rigid, but have and find a happy medium. And the only way you're going to find this happy medium is through experimenting and running through different iterations with the AI. And that's it. So if you enjoyed this, please share with your friends. And as a quick reminder, two things. Below is a 30-day AI Insight series, completely free. You'll get 30 insights in your inbox how you can apply AI to your business and your work. Second thing is if you'd like to work with me, below are a series of offerings to see if there's a good fit between the two of us. And now that you understand altitude, the ultimate hack is having AI write these perfect prompts for you. I break down exactly that and 4 other strange habits of AI power users in this video right here. So you should totally check it out. Go ahead, click it. I'll see you next time, Internet.